Currently, these are the 5 different versions of Lagiacrus in the main Monster Hunter games. While they are all the same monster on a technicality, they have been drastically altered to fit each game and their mechanics. After hunting each one recently, I decided to rank them from worst to best while also giving you a disconnected timeline of their evolution in the series. Let me know what your favorite Lagiacrus fight is, and without further ado, because I hate long intros, my name is Josh, also known as Gorguini Magala, and I hope you enjoy. Starting the list at number 5 is Lagiacrus from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Now, as we all know, underwater combat wasn't received too well, and Capcom decided to just scrap the idea completely after the 3rd generation. Which means Lagiacrus, Lord of the Seas, was no longer in the seas in this game, so of course I had to put him in last place. Now, it doesn't mean he was a bad fight in Generations, because they did compensate for the lack of underwater combat with some new moves for him to utilize on land. I like the stringed electrical currents that create hazards during the hunt. I think it's pretty cool, but even then, it still feels like a soulless representation of this monster. I'm glad they didn't have him chill by the shoreline shooting things at us like Plesioth in the older games, because if he was that bad, I would have put him in 6th place, even though there are only 5 spots. Thankfully, this is the only reincarnation that has 0 underwater combat. Today's video is sponsored by Kayak LED Gaming Desk. If you need a new desk or you're even just thinking about it, look no further, because honestly, this desk is the best I've had in my professional career. I currently have it set up in this nice L-shaped fashion, so I have basically one side dedicated to YouTube, gaming, and the other side dedicated to my graphic design duties. This desk has a plethora of features. One of my absolute favorites is the monitor stand to help reduce back and neck tension by encouraging a more upright posture. What helps even more? A keyboard tray so that you don't have to lean forward like some gremlin. Trust me, I don't want to look like the letter C when I'm 55. There's also a storage unit below Mesmer here where I have stored some of my design study books and a copy of Junji Ito The Spiral, just because I can. But if that's not enough space for you, there's also a storage ledge right underneath the desk. I like to keep my controllers here or any additional pieces of equipment that I'm currently not using. But if you're still looking for more space, there's a small storage bag for cables, wires, trinkets. I got my graphic design pen in there. I have a lot of external hard drives, books, and other things that I like to keep close by. Plus, it just looks so slick and clean and makes me feel like I'm immersed into my work. Now, one of the best features about this desk for me is the outlet connected in the back corner. I currently have my external hard drive plugged in, my laptop, I'll charge my phone when it's low, and of course, the lights. They're super easy to set up and can be controlled via Bluetooth with the Lotus Lantern app, at least that's the one I'm using. There's a music mode, you can change the colors, microphone options. I mean, there's so much versatility for you to be creative here. And of course, you might not like the L-shaped design. Well, there are 4 different ways to set up this desk, including a completely straight 96 inches for side-by-side teamwork. It was very easy to assemble too, with clear instructions and even tools to help put it all together. I've been using it for the past couple of days, and it's truly been amazing. It makes me feel more professional, gives me creative freedom, and with the lights, it makes for a relaxing atmosphere when needed. If you want to purchase your own desk, use the link in the description below or pinned comment and use code JOSH30 for $30 off. And at its current price, that's a solid 18% off. Again, use code JOSH30 for $30 off with the link in the description or pinned comment. Thanks again for Kayak for sponsoring today's video. In a complete change of contrast from the previous entry, Abyssal Lagiacrus is the rare species of this monster that has only ever appeared in one game, 3 Ultimate. And technically in the story games, alright, I know, someone's gonna make a comment about it, there you go, I said it. Now, while the Generations version is fought strictly on land, Abyssal is fought strictly in the sea, located in the underwater ruins where you fight Cedius. Now, I like underwater combat because it adds depth to a fight, mechanically and literally speaking. The problem that I have that resonates with a lot of players is how much faster the monsters are underwater, and how much at a disadvantage the hunters are at. When it's the entire fight, it becomes such a slog that I truly do not enjoy. Underwater combat is at its best when it's essentially a phase or a portion of the fight, like a side dish. Dire Morales does this very well, for example. He hops in, takes a quick dip in the pool, hops out, rinse and repeat. Abyssal Lagiacrus feels like I'm constantly fighting an uphill battle, and you can never really get the upper hand in this fight. especially because this is an endgame monster, so his damage is very high, his health is very high, and some specific combos are, I kid you not, guaranteed death. Ironically, you recover too fast in the water, and his double rush will hit you both times. I have died too many times to that attack. Easily the toughest fight on this list. I don't normally rage when, playing games, but this monster definitely had me spit at my screen a couple of times. I would argue, and this is just me saying this, it's not a fact, but I think he's on par with some Dark Souls bosses. He's seriously very tough. Regardless, I still like this monster. I still have respect for this fight, because it's a version of Lagiacrus that embraces his title as Lord of the Seas in a different fashion. Earning the bronze medal on this list is none other than Ivory Lagiacrus. Now, look, I get it. I said that I don't like Lagiacrus from Generations because it was fought solely on land. However, I think there's an exception here because this is a subspecies, which means it has different behaviors, different environments, and so it makes sense from a lore perspective why you only fight it on land. Even then, you kind of fight him in the water sometimes, unless if you kill him too quickly, which I've done because I'm just so good at the game. But it happens, Ivory, much like Abyssal, harbors stronger electricity than the base version and is so powerful, it can create giant AoEs on the ground. He's really not that much different from the base version otherwise. I mean, he does have a few unique attacks, but really the main appeal is that he's fought on land and he has stronger electricity. I mean, that's about it. Because this Lagiacrus has adapted to life on land, he's faster, more mobile, and can hit hunters from different angles that the common variant otherwise could not. As much as I like underwater combat, on the ground is still better 10 out of 10 times, so it does make for a really fun fight. Still, I think there are two more that are just a bit better. The OG Lagiacrus from Monster Hunter 3 Tri or 3 Ultimate, they're basically the same. I love this monster, and as a matter of fact, he was on my top 20 favorite monsters of all time video. But of course, I'm not going to tell you where, you're just going to have to watch the video for yourself. He's in the thumbnail though, so he's definitely pretty high. The Lord of the Seas matches his title perfectly, as you can fight him both on land or water. Unlike some underwater monsters, I think he's a solid, fair fight that has great openings, but punishing counters if you're too aggressive. Like I said earlier, underwater combat is at its best when it's a portion of the fight, but I can't deny that when it comes to this monster specifically, I actually do enjoy fighting it more underwater. This is where Lagiacrus truly shines in design and gameplay. One of the key features this monster harbors is its shell shocker that will power up as the fight continues. If it becomes fully charged, even some basic attacks will have a lightning AoE added to them, making for a more diverse fight than others at this point in the series. 3 Ultimate had such a unique atmosphere to it, and to a point, I think Lagiacrus was a part of the game's overall DNA, mostly because he was the flagship. You really just can't beat the original fight. Sorta, almost. I believe the best version of Lagiacrus' fight in the series is none other than the most recent appearance in Monster Hunter Wilds. Lagiacrus in Wilds is easily the best reincarnation of this monster. This game in general does very good with the older monsters coming back, giving them new mechanics and whatnot. He basically has the land complexity of Generations Lagiacrus while still retaining the beauty of underwater combat. I mean, sure, it's way more simplified, but Lagiacrus looks so good underwater in Wilds. They amplified everything to an 11 during this phase of the fight. You're still avoiding attacks like normal, but you're using the environment mostly to deal damage. On land, he has some new attacks, of course, new animations, and a glorious 4K model that is just... Much like the OG, his shell gains power throughout the fight and amplifies all of his attacks. I think what's important to note here is, yes, there's a lot of differences for Lagiacrus and Wilds, to fit the speed and mechanics of the game, but the core identity of this monster still remains, so it doesn't feel like they changed too much, but more so enhanced the fight. I mean, it happens. Some monsters, I think, have changed too much over time, and compared to their first appearance are two totally different monsters. Lagiacrus in Wilds is like baby bear's porridge. It's just right. Not to mention you pulling him out of the water, that animation, freaking sick. I recently played through 3 Ultimate, and the original still holds up very well, but I gotta give props to Wilds. With as much optimization issues as it has, this is without question the best Lagiacrus in the series, according to me at least. And that's about it for today. I just wanted to make a shorter video for now as I work on bigger projects, and if you actually like this, I might do it for the other monsters, just let me know. I'm almost thinking about taking an actual, like, long break and just playing a bunch of different games and coming back with a bigger collection to talk about, but, you know, who knows? Let me know your favorite version of Lagiacrus, and you know what? That's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone, and of course, stay safe.